Alright, so late start today, and I have to go to the dragway with my buddy tonight. Not that I have to, I want to, I'm going to. So I'm just out of curiosity. I just want to pull the fuel filter out of this and kind of look over a couple of things. I want to see if I can find the paint code, get some touch-up paint for it, because it's almost perfect. Wait a minute, no it ain't. But if I can get some touch-up paint, it'll take the curse off of a couple of bad areas. But anyway, I'm going to pull the fuel filter and let's see if I'm right about the fuel filter being plugged solid in the front of the carburetor. We'll know in a minute. Alright, so this is going way better than expected already. These things, everybody rounded out these nuts on these lines back in the day. And this one, just one edge on one direction of them is rounded over a little bit. So that came right out. And I knew the other guy had it out, but it was just nice that I could even get a wrench on it. Interesting. There's no fuel filter in it. So that's not what I was expecting. I mean, it does still smell like gas. Good, right? Yeah, it's pretty interesting. It doesn't have, there's supposed to be a little plastic washer right here. It doesn't have that. Oh, actually it's down inside the threads. Alright, well it was sealing up down there, so we're going to leave that in there for right now. Because most of the time if you mess with them, those things break. They're just like a thin plastic that's petrified over the years. A little bee coming to visit us. Alright, so yeah, I guess I was wrong about the. Yeah, I'm not a guess. I was definitely wrong about the fuel filter not being there. But without the fuel filter there, this thing could have a ton of debris inside this carburetor, which would explain some of how it's running. So, hey, you see the fuel threads in there. It's unbelievable. Alright. Adjustable wrench when I have every wrench on the sun, under the sun. Alright. So I guess we're going to abandon that until I have some fuel. What I'll do is I'll get some real fuel and I'll fill up the bowl. I'll see if the accelerator pump's working. And then at that point we may have to pull the whole top off the carburetor and see what's going on in there. But in the meantime, I'm going to check on the brakes. The brake pedal's pretty dang low. Let's see if it's front or rears that are empty in here. Alright, so it's the rear that's totally empty. Alright, so we got some front brakes. So that's okay, because if we got some front brakes, once you get this thing running, it's like a built-in line lock. So when we attempt to do the first burnout with the all-powerful 301, it'll be pretty impressive. One thing I just realized is I don't have a lot of experience with these old 301s. Basically, we just pulled these things out back in the day. But look at this. That's the engine oil dipstick going around the back of the motor for some reason. Yeah. She's dirty, but I don't see any metal in it. That's positive. Take that as a win. And let's see where the static level on the tranny is. Oh, we're probably about a half a quart low. Most of these GM trannies, like if you're about 3/4 of an inch over the full mark when it's been sitting overnight, that's usually just about full. And look at this. What the heck is going on here? Alright, so I was wondering about this big hole in the firewall. There's definitely been mice in the car. And I was like, where's the big rubber plug? It's down here behind the dipstick. So let's see if we'll put that back in the firewall. Keep some future mice out. Maybe. I need a pick to get that all the way in. Alright, that's pretty good. And then we got some oh, look at this. We got some 4-prong wire here that's jumped out with a cotter pin. I don't know if you can see that from over there. Let's see if we can zoom in a little more here. Yeah, we got a 4-pin plug over here. Kind of like an idle air control solenoid on like a fuel injected motor, but it's got a cotter pin bent over and stuck between the two, and there's the other one hanging out over there. Then we got a tin wire cut off and stripped right there, and then we got a red wire over here cut off and stripped. Trying to keep those from grounding out at least right now until I figure out what they are. It's not bad for how unmolested this is. That's pretty nice. We got some old school Excel 8.8 plug wires, but somebody replaced one on the other side because they had burnt on the exhaust probably. And check this out. I think that's a rabbit leg. That's a whole leg to something. Sorry for the shakiness. Oh, look at that thing. That's pretty gross. That's about how big it is to my hand. That was something's dinner that they dragged up in there and ate everything off the bone. Gross. Alright. So yeah, so I'm going to go get some fuel to start with. And power steering wasn't working, the reservoir's empty. I'm guessing it's Pitman arm seal. That's super common on all these GMs. And probably not too bad, but over time, this thing sat for probably 10 years. It probably drained out enough. Or maybe it's a blown out line. We'll see. I don't see anything chafing or anything crazy. So we'll work on that. And every component to the AC is here. Yeah, every component for the AC is here, just the belts off of it. And I think, yeah, the compressor itself is seized. Yep. Yeah, the compressor itself is seized. But that's okay. Replacement compressor, flush it out, new orifice tube, charge it up, probably be pretty good. And I do have this piece of ductwork in the car, and there's another random piece of ductwork in there. I don't know where that went. Alright. Yeah, so gas, brake fluid. I got tranny fluid I can use for the power steering fluid. let's see what we do for the rest of the day. Oh, also, I want to try a tiny spot of this cleaner wax, just so it can laugh at me. And I'm not sure where I want to try it. You know what? The trailer hitch is all. The wing is all chipped up, so I'll do a little corner on the wing. Cleaner wax has like a compound built into it, and it's nowhere near as old, but my Wagoneer has an old single stage repaint on it, and this stuff works wonders over there. So I was just curious if it'll do anything for this, you know, like will it do it 20% better or anything like that. Let's see. Nope, she's gonna need a lot more than that. Did brighten up the gold pinstripe a little bit though. But yeah, that's not much better at all. That's pretty much nothing. Alright. So that means I'll probably grab a little bit of wet sandpaper, compound buffer and all that stuff when I'm up in my storage unit, and maybe give it a buff one of these days. Alright, so quick tip, you know, older cars, windows get smashed, you want to keep the water out. You either got to top the whole car, or sometimes you duct tape plastic over the window itself. And this is what people did in the past. On this one is, you can see, that's all duct tape glue residue all along there. And if you look right here, that's where it actually peeled off some paint, and that's where it's peeled off some paint. As you just saw, there was a bunch of it here, and this stuff is normally a disaster to try and get off all this. Like, that's all glue. And then you can see somebody, not me, I assure you, either sanded or razor blade, probably sanded to try and get some of it off, or maybe a razor blade. But either way, what I did back here, and this came out pretty good. You can see where when the duct tape had gotten ripped off, it had taken some of the paint off in all those little spots. The paint's kind of all checked, see it? But it came out pretty good, and I just used this stuff, and it says to let it sit on there for at least 2 minutes, and it helped some, but I found the key was the plastic razor blades is saturate it and get the bulk off with this, and then go after it with a rag afterwards. So yeah, so that's a lot better. I'm going to continue on and get the rest of this glue off. Not that it's critical, but it's bugging the crap out of me. Oh, and I also wanted to mention, as you can see, I have it taped up, is you have a perfect piece of chrome trim around here, or stainless chrome or polished aluminum, whatever you want to call it, whatever this application might be. But just clean that really good and stick your tape to that. As you can see the edge of it peeking out a little bit. Just stick your tape to that chrome trim, clean it, stick it really good, and then stick your plastic to the back edge of it. And then this stuff can take a pounding to get it off. Like, it's not going to ruin the paint, it's not going to peel the paint or anything. So if you can go to a piece of trim or overlay the whole thing and pull it tight and put it on the glass front and back, even if it's not taped along the top, if you go to like the middle of the car, tape it to the glass on both ends, then the glass is easy to clean also. So just be mindful where the duct tape sticks to, because especially these older cars, if you want to kind of drive them around a little bit ratty but not too bad, or if you want to try and polish them up the best you can or whatever, it's just nice to not have to deal with this. Even if you're just going in to do body work, just dealing with getting all this off before you can even start sanding is a pain in the butt. It's way better. Pretty sure I have a window in storage for it. I might pick that up on the way to the dragway tonight, or maybe on the way back. I can kind of detour and kind of go by my storage unit out there, and hopefully I still have it and I can throw it in. If not, there's a couple available local cheap. But it came off pretty well. A few things you want to be aware of is anytime you use an adhesive remover on an old car for stuff like this, like obviously there was all the residue from the duct tape, and you want to work on that, but you spray it down and then it runs off. You want to make sure you keep it from running down and getting onto something like this. And then like with the doors where they're so vertical, you want to keep it from running down and sitting in the top edge of this, because whatever you're using is an adhesive remover, and these are held on by adhesive. So if that runs down in pools, that can make this peel right off eventually. Definitely compromise the glue at some point. And then same thing like around the edges of this. It did have a full pinstriping package on it, and there's just enough of it left to know where it is. Like the wheel well's held up pretty good, but everywhere up top, it's kind of just probably just the glue that's left. But like that's like a witness mark of how this actually was. So say I want to start doing the body work and repaint this thing original, I can take pictures, references of all those witness marks of where the pinstriping was from the factory and know exactly where to put it. But if you get heavy-handed with the adhesive remover and you take it off in a bunch of areas, then like you lose that reference point. So not the end of the world. It is like a ratty car. The paint's wasted and all that stuff, but there is a market for these. Being a survivor, this is all original paint. I can't find no paintwork that's been done to this. Everything looks like it's totally original. I see no body work coming through. I see no panels that are shinier than another panel. I see nothing that's clear coated when the original was single stage or anything like that. I see nothing with any of the pinstriping not matching the age from one panel to another. Even the bumper covers, like those, don't even have any different type of paint on them or anything. So even at that, it has value that it still retains its own original decals and emblems, whatever condition they might be in. And this thing isn't super special. I think it's a WS4 package. WS6 would have had like the disc brakes in the back and whatnot, but this does have the beefy sway bar in the front, the small sway bar in the back, only disc in the front, drum in the back. It does have the dual exhaust. It's got the turbo 301 motor, which wasn't very desirable, but some people get kooky about them and love those things. So yeah, it's definitely cool that it's a survivor to this point, and with minimal rust on it. You know, I'll go over it, I'll do a full walk around. It's got a tiny little bit on the corner of this hood, and a little bit on the back of both quarter panels, and a little on the bottom of the fender on the other side. And inside the trunk, like where the taillights bolt in, there's a little bit up on the top edge of that. Trunk floor looks good. I think most of the floor inside the house is good, except for right in the driver's heel area. Super common. But yeah, I think if this doesn't stay in my own stable or a close friend's stable, somebody's going to be thrilled to get this thing. Anyway, I'll keep documenting as I'm going along and getting it running better, and obviously for the first burnout, hopefully the almighty 301 turbo has the power to do it. Anyway, this is a separate video. Thanks for watching. You guys are awesome. And I might have went off on a tangent about not damaging the stuff around with the adhesive remover, but whenever you're done, always thoroughly rinse off the areas you were using so it's not affecting the old paint or new paint or anything like that by sitting there continuing to work. So rinse it all down, neutralize it, and you should have a good result.